Hello, lords and ladies of gamerdom.
And YouTube if you're watching.
This is the Destination Gamer podcast. I am Ziggy. Alongside with me, I have the guy that started it all, Batch.
Hello.
What is Destination Gamer all about? Well, Batch is about to tell you.
It is a place for multi-format gamers can discuss and arrange game nights and basically have fun. No one is turned away unless you're under 18. And as a motto goes, a game for everyone.
Which obviously leads us onto the podcast, why we're doing one. Basically, it's for those that don't really get onto the website that much to keep up to date on their way to work or wherever if they can't get access to the internet or anything like that on their phone. Also on top of that, it's just chit chat on games basically. So what have you been playing much of this month in Batch?
Been playing mostly GTA 5 online that minute. Had a bit of fun last night on New Year's Eve. It was a bit of a good laugh.
Yeah, a bit of a crazy mayhem on GTA Online there. Yeah, I haven't been on that for quite a while. It was actually quite fun to play.
Yeah, especially with the new content creation.
I haven't actually touched that yet, so I need to actually stick it in. Obviously, I've been playing too much other games like Killzone 3. Obviously, that kicked me off with the game night that was on in December. And obviously, Bioshock Infinite's took up a bit of my time.
I'm stuck on that.
It's pretty good. It's one of those ones I'm picking up and playing and just knocking little bits off at a time rather than... Because I've always found with the Bioshock games, I can't actually get into them like I can normal other games. I find it does get a bit repetitive, but what I have been playing a lot of is probably one of the best buys you can ever get is Minecraft.
So yes, we just started our own survival island, didn't we?
Yeah, the only thing with Minecraft is, I've got to admit, it is one of the most pointless games you can think of, but it's fantastic to play when you
Very
don't know what
addictive.
to play. And
Very
you can lose
addictive.
an hour just digging a hole in it. Obviously, I've been playing the Batman Arkham Origins. I've got that for Christmas, got the collector's edition. So I've been sitting ploughing through that and I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. Obviously gone through Arkham Asylum as well as Arkham City. So
I went through it, but because I had it for Secret Santa, mine just came up with disc unreadable.
that
So,
wasn't good.
yeah, but I'm just waiting for a code from my Secret Santa. It's still not had it yet. Hopefully not too long.
Well, with better luck you'll get that because Arkham Asylum is actually one of the better Batman games.
It is.
Yeah, some people can't get away with the openness of Arkham City or Arkham Origins. Obviously speaking of superheroes, the other game I've been playing is that Lego Marvel. It's absolutely amazing. If you like the Lego games, I would recommend it to anybody. But also, if you like your superheroes, it's not too bad a story, but it's one of those games you can stick in,
Talking about Lego, I've
Yeah.
been playing the Lego Indiana Jones, and that's quite good fun.
Yeah, that's quite a old one now, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Another Secret Santa present.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing absolutely hundreds of games at the minute. Disney Infinity's another one, which, I've got to admit is actually pretty good. Obviously quite expensive for the extra figures and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games where it is that simple to play that if you don't really want a game, it's like Minecraft. If you don't want a game where there's far too much action in it, or you don't have to think too much, or you can just meander around, Disney Infinity is another one of those good games that you could pick up and play. It's much like the sort of games on the go that you can get for like your iPads and your iPhones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A bit like at the moment you got the Candy Crush that's quite popular, and Bubble Witch Saga.
Yeah, can I just say, don't send me Facebook requests on constant Candy Crush Saga requests.
It does it automatically from my tablet.
It's not you. It's just me personal one. Get people going, play this, play that. Oh, stop it.
Have you heard of a game called Rain?
No.
Now, I wasn't really looking at it and thinking, "Oh, that looks like a really good game." But obviously, it was on the 12 deals of Christmas that Sony were doing, so obviously got it really cheap. Obviously, playing a little boy who has somehow become invisible, and he's chasing after a little girl who's invisible, but you also got these invisible creatures chasing you. But you go
Yeah.
invisible when you're out. Like the only time you can actually be seen is when you're out in the rain, and it's it's very story based, but it's kind of got puzzles in it to how do you get through this section to the next bit.
Yeah.
It's like how do you get past that dirty puddle, you know, and into a clean puddle, without being seen and stuff like. So it's definitely something I would definitely recommend to anybody, especially a cheap indie game.
Cool.
So, so apart from the Batman and the Lego and the Minecraft, and what else have you been playing this month?
I've been recently playing Peggle. That's got addictive, and because it was on the sales on the Xbox. What are you talking about? Sales on PlayStation Store. That was about 67p at the time, so that was a good
That's
bargain.
not bad buy. I think I had that on my phone. Is it where you fire little balls off and bounce around the screen or something?
On pegs, yeah, and get
Yeah.
rid of orange pegs.
I'll tell you one game that did surprise me though. That came out back end of last year. Was that Need for Speed Rivals?
Yeah, I got it on the Xbox, so I thought that was good, quite
Yeah, I've
good
got it on
fun.
the PS3. Just the I mean, I was a bit disappointed with Need for
Most
Speed Most
Wanted.
Wanted.
That was awful.
But Rivals was a completely new company. Criterion oversaw basically the whole game. But Criterion are off there working on a completely different genre apparently. But
Hmm.
the Need for Speed Rivals, I'm like, it doesn't look that good. But got it, and it's one of those games I picked up, stuck on, and I'm going quite through the levels quite quick on it.
Yeah. How are you
Uh,
supposed to do multiplayer with that Need Speed Rivals?
I have no idea. I haven't actually done that yet because I know it does drop you in. I think you might just have to invite your friends or something somewhere like that. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be really
I just
easy.
can't see whether you can invite to like races, cop chases, whatnot.
Google it. Obviously, just to round up what we've been playing, I've been the other game I've been playing. I've got Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remix. That's a tongue twister and a half, which is basically what they've done is they've made remade pretty much had to remake the whole of Kingdom Hearts.
Mm.
But they've done it in the 1080p. It looks absolutely fantastic. And it still plays as good as any other new game as what it did originally. So and obviously that's the one that's got obviously Mickey Mouse in and Donald Duck and Goofy and characters from Final Fantasy and that. So and speaking of Final Fantasy, I'm still plucking away on the old Final Fantasy 7
Oh
on me
bloody hell!
on me
That's a
PS
long
Vita.
time ago.
Hmm?
That is a long time ago. Well, played that.
1997. And believe it or not, it's still actually regarded as the best Final Fantasy set. Final Fantasy VII is still regarded as one of the best games in the Final Fantasy genre.
Yeah,
Some people say seven, some people say eight. I've got to say for me, seven was the one that uh, was the better one for me. Uh, so was Peggle the last game that you've been playing, or you played anything else, or?
the only other game was the SSX, the good old snowballing game. Recently got it on the PS3, so trying to get back into that really.
Right. Is that actually any good?
Yeah, it was actually good. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I did actually look at it and I'm thinking, do I don't? And I just basically went no. Obviously, moving on is looking back at the highs and lows of gaming last year. What do you think were the highs and lows really? I mean, you can't not talk about last year and not talk about the reveals of the PS4 and the Xbox One. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, uh, those reveals were both high points and low points. The high points obviously were we're getting the next generation console. Low point is the initial reveal. Not one of them stood out to me and said that this is going to be a console that you want to buy. PS4.
Buy me, buy me, buy me.
Yeah, the PS4 one I thought just did not. Yes, all they showed was a lot of games and a little bit of the sort of dashboard or whatever you want to call it, and it didn't grip me. And obviously, Xbox One was just a massive. Ooh, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
And that looks interesting, but the problem that you've got is I say, wow, that looks good, and then when you think about it, well, I'm a gamer, I want to play games. All the stuff that they were showing you for Xbox One worked better if you had your cable plugged into it, or if you wanted to browse the internet while you were. But I was on the thought of, well, if I want to browse the internet, I've got an Android tablet there, or I've got my computer sat next to us, which a lot of gamers tend to have. So to me, that was in a lot of the policies that Microsoft had originally. DRM was obviously one of the biggest ones. But at a high point, with people raving about it on YouTube, guys and guys like the Angry Joe show and Boogie2988, a lot of people turned around and said, we're not purchasing it because this DRM. Microsoft had to basically do a revert, didn't they?
Yeah, of course I have, yeah.
I mean, I've got to admit though, the E3 that year, Microsoft did come out with some pretty good looking games.
But still fell short.
But to me, they fell short as a gamer for me because there weren't really anything that would grab me as such as a gamer that I'm, of things that I enjoy playing. Sony came out with it and were like, oh yeah, we work with indies. Indie developers. There's an indie developer doing a HD remake of Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which I'm looking forward to. The other thing, obviously, is the PS Vita is also going to be a remote play thing, and they've actually showed it working with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think it was, wasn't it?
Sorry?
I think it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag they were showing you when they were on the E3. They were doing the remote play with it.
Right.
I think. I can't remember. I know there was a one doing that. And obviously Microsoft managed to sell quite a lot of Xbox Ones. I think it took them to sell out, I think it took them nearly 48 hours or something like that from launch. PS4 was sold out within 24 hours everywhere. So just goes to show you how popular a machine can be, or how much bad press can damage the launch of a console.
Certainly does, yeah.
I mean, Nintendo Wii U came out, and it's just like a Wii 0.5, 1.5. I've got to remember one of the highs that I did think, which probably a lot of people will disagree. I know you probably won't. It was the Defiance game.
I just couldn't get used to it.
Well, I've played games like World of Warcraft, City of Heroes, City of Villains, so I have a sort of a good gist of these type of games. The reason why I'm saying this game is a high, it is quite a good game to play, but it does get very, very repetitive very, very quickly. So,
The reason why I said it's bad because I played a beta version before it came out, and then when I wasn't impressed with that because it just basically looked like an alpha test, not a beta. There's lots of bugs in it.
Well, that's the thing. No, it wasn't a full thing. That was a beta test. It wasn't the final product. Beta tests are done like that so that people can have a little taste of it.
Yeah.
But they can also balance things out, find out what the glitches are on a wide
it's when
scale.
It was only when you got into a cutscene, it was like explosion here on the captions. But that's supposed to be on the beta test.
Well, I mean, the reason why I said it was quite a good high was it actually sold more than what the developers were expecting.
Mm.
Plus the fact it was tied into a TV show. So that week on the TV show, whatever happened in the TV show, there was things running for a week within the
Yeah.
game, which I thought was quite good. So it's, I don't know. I think it's just little bits like that. Little thing like that where it wasn't expecting to do so well, and then it did really well. I mean, you can now pick the game up for about 15 quid. So, and it doesn't have a serial number in it or anything. So,
Mm.
it's you can
You
get it.
mean the online pass, is it?
No, there's no online pass. Mind you, I've got to admit, one of the bad things that is actually still going on as well as the Battlefield 4 servers. Especially on the 360. Apparently, from what I've been reading, it's that they're all people not able to connect to them or people dropping out and stuff.
Yeah, people getting lawyers to sue
Oh yeah,
EA.
I think it's the people that
The shareholders box things, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but there's been a lawsuit where they're actually getting sued, and EA is actually having to give money back or something to people, or trying to come up with some deal or something like that. I can't remember the whole thing because I haven't been following it that close. So obviously, speaking of the highs and lows, what games would you say last year would be the sort of top titles that you would say has to be played by people?
My best, the very best one's got to be The Last of Us because the story mode just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still haven't finished it. I've got that
Yeah,
many games. I'm jumping around them left, right, and centre. But Last of Us, I hadn't heard anything of it because obviously it came out about the week after I bought the PlayStation.
yeah.
Yes, I've been on 360 pretty much all this generation. Come E3, I then turn around and go, up yours, Microsoft, and jump ship to the PS3. My son plays on 360 more than me. So yeah, I've got to admit, The Last of Us is one of the best buys that I've actually got on the PS3. I don't think I'll
Best
get
of
rid of
2013, I think, is the best ever for me. That
it.
good.
I've got to admit, it was the surprise one for me. GTA 5 did really well. A lot of people loved it. I went to the midnight opening thing for it. Stuck it in the console, did the install, went to bed, woke up at 9 o'clock the next day, and I was still there the next day. Around about 14 hours later, still playing it.
Wow.
The only thing I would say about that though is obviously, which goes back to one of the low points of last year, was GTA Online. They had the extra 2 weeks to
Yeah.
bug solve it or whatever.
But they still end up with bugs on it after the 2 week window.
It annihilated a lot of. I think a lot of people traded that in because they were putting in hours and hours of work on getting money and stuff like that. And then
Coming to the most recently the unlimited money hack that's going on.
yeah,
People giving money online for ruining it for everybody.
well, yeah. I mean, I know you were saying the other day there was a game that you were doing, and somebody put a bounty on someone's head. You
Yeah.
obviously went out and got that person, got the money, and then the guy was asking for the money back off you or something.
Yeah, sending friend requests to one of us here. So we went into our private apartment, just banked it all, give it 2 fingers up to him, basically.
Yeah, well, if people are going to be stupid enough to put that high enough bounty on someone,
Yeah.
then stuff them. It's part of the rules of the game. You stick a bounty on somebody and someone kills them, you get the bounty. Obviously, another top title I would say is definitely Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
Obviously, we briefly touched on that before, but another one that a lot of people don't actually sort of pick up on is that Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Oh, that is one of the best fighting games I've ever played, I reckon. Without a doubt.
It's very one of the things I like about it is it's very, very pick up and play.
It is.
You know, each person has, you know, you've got your gadget person, you've got your super strong person, and obviously you got your light heavyweight, which would be somebody like Flash who moves really quick and stuff. Some of the actual special moves are actually pretty good, but what you would probably class as sort of like a finisher sort of move, which you can pull off in the middle of a match, for example, is Superman uppercuts them up into space
Yeah.
and then flies up and belts them back down into the ground. And Flash runs right the way around the world just to punch somebody, you know. It's really, really good.
What's your best character and your worst character out of that
You know
whole
what?
roster?
I'm a massive Batman fan, so obviously I go over Batman, but he is quite a technical character to get to grips with. I found I enjoyed Green Arrow. He's pretty good, and I don't like Wonder Woman and Superman.
The worst one for me, Solomon Grundy.
Grundy is brilliant once you can learn his moves and how his combos work. He's actually brilliant. I know that they put a lot of effort into Injustice Gods Among Us. It's become one of those titles like Street Fighter, like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, that has obviously gone into esports. And people sit in front of computers bashing the hell out of it and stuff. So yeah, that is quite big. That become quite a big thing. Another one that was quite big, won lots of awards as well, was the Walking Dead by Telltale season 1.
Certainly. Yeah.
I mean, I played most of the first episode on the Xbox 360. When I found when I went to go into it on PlayStation, I just couldn't get into the story. Now I don't know whether or not that's because I'm like, well, I want to get to the next bit, find out what's going on, and I'm having to go over the whole thing again. You know, but it's definitely something I would recommend to somebody. Slow paced. It's more story driven, character driven. Halo, where you just run and gun, which isn't really story based, mind you. Bad titles.
Call of Duty Ghosts is one of them
I
for
think
me.
Call of Duty is starting fall. It's the biggest franchise.
Shall we rename it? Copy and paste of Duty.
No, I tend to call it Children on Duty because it seems to be kids that seem to play it. The amount of times I've actually stuck the headset on in any Call of Duty, and you've got some squeaky under 18 kid having a go at you. I mean, you just do. Kid, what was it? Call of Duty Gaming Rage on YouTube, and you'll see kids playing it. You know, kids throwing massive shots, parents ground them from it, and you know, and you think, well, it's supposed to be 18 rated game, like Grand Theft Auto, Mortal Kombat, and you're letting your kids sit and play Call of Duty. Yeah, it doesn't sit well. One thing I will say about Call of Duty Ghosts was it impressed me when I started playing it.
I got bored. I got impressed with it, and I got bored of it
But
after a
within
while.
about half an hour of actually starting it, I didn't feel like it felt like it started up. You know, the story started, and then obviously you get down into the main character properly, and I felt like I'm playing Gillies in a Mist game from Call of Duty 4, and then it just kind of went to pot very, very quickly. The story wasn't gripping. It did have some nice things in, like your remote sniper, like actually using the dog to move around to take people out and stuff like that to try and be a bit more stealthy. But other than that, it wasn't really.
Parts of the story was basically copied and pasted from Modern Warfare 3, I think.
But basically, they came out and said it was a new engine, and then a couple of weeks later they said, well, actually, it's not a new engine. They've just used HD textures on it instead. I mean, one of the things they were plugging about it was the fact that fish swim away from you when you're underwater. Did they not know anything about Mario 64 on the N64? You know, you try to swim close to the fish on there, and the fish used to swim away from you. You know, it's like, oh, you've now got a dog. I'm sure. I think the game was Shadow Dancer, way back on the Amiga and the Mega Drive.
Cool.
You played as a ninja, but you had like a dog or a wolf or something as your little mate. So it's one of the knackers type things, you know. Then Aliens Colonial Marines was just as bad. I mean,
I didn't even touch that yet, and I got it on the PS3 was part of the sale.
yeah, one of the things I've got to admit, when anybody ever touches Aliens or a Predator game, people's expectations go through the roof because they're basing them on the movies.
Hmm.
But if you look at every single Aliens game or Aliens versus Predator or Predator game, they might have sold quite a bit, but the actual games are quite rubbish. You
Can you
know,
name any good Aliens games?
Alien 3, I think it was on the Mega Drive. I think I enjoyed playing that one.
Alien Trilogy, back on the PS1. I think that.
Oh yeah, I actually had that. I think forgot about that one. I mean, I know there's a massive thing at the moment about bringing back some of the old games, like DuckTales has been remastered. Obviously, I mentioned Kingdom Hearts already. There's going to be Final Fantasy X coming out in HD.
Do you think they'll do 7 in HD?
Well, they've actually said that if they were to do 7, it would look like Advent Children. But the problem that they've got is they reckon it will probably take them about 10 years to actually develop it,
Oh, jeez.
because obviously they haven't got any of the stuff anymore. So what they would have to do is build everything from scratch and then add in all the HD textures, all the gameplay code in the game and everything. You know, and I think they've done really well with Kingdom Hearts. I've got to admit. So if they were to apply that to Final Fantasy VII, but remember that was spread over 3 discs.
Oh, yeah, of course that.
It was
Of
spread over
course.
3 discs on the PlayStation 1. And yeah, fair enough, the game was fantastic. The reason it stands out the most is because a lot of people could relate to at least one of those characters. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people either they could relate to maybe it's Cloud, Tifa, Red 13, Barrett. You know, there was at least something in each character that they could relate to, which is why it sold so much. That and the fact that the movie sequence was just absolutely astounding for that time. Another game that was astounding back in the day, Flashback. I used to have that on the Mega Drive and the PC. That was absolutely fantastic. The remake that they've done is something I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Download the trial version, and I'm thinking this game is crap. It's too easy. It's like where's it gone? You know, it's just gone nowhere whatsoever. You know, and obviously one of the other bad titles that got slated, which I never even touched, was Dead Island Riptide. A lot of people said it was Dead Island 1.5. You know what I mean? They
Looks the
charged you
same.
more for some extra. Effectively, it was like a large DLC that they wanted to charge you more for. Yeah, it's like my opinion. You know, Assassin's Creed. You've got like what was it, Brotherhood, and what was it? You had Assassin's Creed 2, then you had Brotherhood,
Have you got?
and then Revelations, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Revelations could have been an episodic
that was
tie-in.
the worst out of
Yeah,
the two.
you know, to me it felt like it could have been an episodic tie-in to Brotherhood. It's like Dead Island Riptide. From what I've got gathered, a lot of people have said that could have been an episodic thing. You know, so
The last thing I think was really bad was the games with gold service. Absolutely terrible
Well,
compared to PlayStation Plus.
well, yeah, but you've got to remember the thing is the difference between the things is games with gold. When the game comes out on gold and you download it, if your subscription goes down, defaults down to a silver,
You still keep it.
you still keep the game. If if your subscription just runs out on the plus, you lose that game. But saying that, the Microsoft seem to be putting, and the reason why I say it's so bad or low, because I
The
know
old games
a
from
lot of people that do have the Xbox are saying, "Oh yeah, it's brilliant." I'm like, well, yeah, but it's they're emulating what they're trying to emulate what Sony's done, because Sony's overtook them with in terms of online content.
yeah.
And Sony, with they've tied it down. I mean, a good example is Microsoft came out and said you can now get Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3 for free, and they said that they wouldn't put sort of arcade titles; it would be retail titles going up.
What happens?
What happens? Well, the first game that actually came out, which was Defense Earth Grid or
Defense Grid
Defense Grid even,
was an arcade title.
was not a retail title. That was either what you would class as an indie title or
It's an arcade title. Definitely an arcade title.
So at the moment, Microsoft, with them backtracking on everything that they did with Xbox One and going back on pretty much everything that they've said, they've lost a hell of a lot of confidence from me to them as a gamer, because for the past 2 years they've been ramming Connect down our throats. They're now bundled it with the Xbox One, making you have it, and a lot of people do not want it. It's a gimmick. Nobody really wants it. Wii U outsold every console in the last generation between PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii. The Wii actually outsold it. They're all, you can pick a Wii up now for about £10 because every bugger under the sun has them. Even when they were like gold dust to get hold of. Do you know what I mean? So it's a gimmick. But the games with gold thing, it's a good idea, but I think Microsoft are going the complete wrong way with
It's titles that people already played ages ago.
Everybody's played Assassin's Creed 2 practically. Everybody's practically played Halo 3.
Everyone's practically played Sleeping Dogs.
Well, no. A lot of people were told that it was you're either going to love it or hate it type of game.
The next one on the list was it's going to be on the 16th. Lara Croft Guide to the Light, another arcade title.
Well, yeah, they seem to put a full retail one and then a arcade title on. I mean, you've got to remember. I mean that everybody's practically played Gears of War. Everybody's practically played Assassin's Creed 2, and everyone's practically played Halo 3. If you haven't, you can pick the game up for about £2 or £3. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense in my eyes why Microsoft, and this is a prime example, Games with Gold had Assassin's Creed 2 on the Games with Gold.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus had Assassin's Creed 3.
I've still got it on the hard drive.
And a lot of people, especially on the Xbox, are saying, "Oh yeah, but I get to keep it permanently. You won't get to keep that permanently if your subscription runs out." I'm planning on getting a PS4 eventually. You need your subscription to PlayStation Plus basically to play your games online. But there's so many perks that you'll get with the PlayStation Plus that far outweigh the Xbox Games with Gold and Xbox Live at the moment. You know, everything that Microsoft give you is put behind a payment charge. You know, Sony are giving you the option to buy it. Yes, obviously PS4 you need to buy it, but the thing is, I mean, I've got a PS Vita, and I've got around about 15 to 20 games for it, and I have not paid a penny for any of them because I've got PlayStation Plus. And they're actually pretty decent games as well.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the highs and lows of last year. Yeah. 2013. What would you say would be some of the gaming highlights that stand out in your mind from 2013? That was, it's like, yes, you wanted to scream out that, not that you were completely outstanding at or whatever.
Well, anything with GTA Online, to be honest. But, can we start again? Pause.
Personal highlights from 2013. What would you say is your best?
I would say GTA Online, because it's just every time I play it, it's just funny. You do what you want, play on random jobs, play on custom jobs now.
Yeah, I've got to
Just got to see this video on what I put up from New Year's Eve. That just shows how much fun it was.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, GTA Online is absolutely it's fantastic when it worked.
Yeah.
I know that you've got the YouTube channel for the Destination Gamer game nights. I think it's Destination Gamer DG or something, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I remember that time. So is that the only one, or is it?
Just again, like I said earlier, playing The Last of Us off on the story mode, just so emotional to start with. I thought I'm about nearly crying. I thought that I got to man up.
I don't want to know the end. I still haven't finished. I've been playing that many different things.
At the start, it's just right from the start. I thought, how emotional was that?
Yeah.
And then the other one was the racing leagues I hosted on the Gran Turismo 5. Just absolutely mayhem and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just a shame it didn't finish off because everyone's got lost interest in it after a while. But
I don't think they probably lost interest. I think it was more a case of some of the things you've got to remember is some members actually have families and stuff, so they don't get on the consoles as much. So if a new game comes out, Grand Theft Auto, for example, that every bugger else seems to buy, that'll get pushed to the wayside type of thing,
yeah.
I mean, you've got to remember, Gran Turismo 5 is actually quite old as well. Especially with 6 just coming out recently.
Oh, yeah, true. We're talking about taking the online mode off already.
Huh?
Well, yeah, for Gran Turismo 5.
I'm a bit surprised at that, like.
Yeah, a bit too soon. But there you go.
Well, I mean, I've got to admit, one of my personal highlights is got to be getting a PS3. I'll kid you not. I've had a 360 since they were launched. Never had one red ring on it. I've had one red ring. That's it. And it's just over the past few years, I've been getting a bit more bored with the games that are coming out because they're all like, well, you've got to have Kinect, you've got to have this, I mean, they brought Halo 4 out, and I played that to death. That was fantastic. But then there was nothing else. It's kind of like Microsoft have put off doing any sort of decent first party exclusives. Like, you've got Mario and your Zeldas for the Wii, you've got Killzone and The Last of Us on PlayStation, for example. Even though The Last of Us is fairly new.
You got the Uncharted series. That was another brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's like I said. So, but I also the PS3 as overpriced Blu-ray player that actually plays games. and to be honest, I'll still state that fact. It's a Blu-ray player that plays video games. It's not a games console. 360, when it first started out, was a games console. If you look at where the 360 is now to where it was when it first started, it's completely changed. It's all about streaming services and advertisements and all that sort of rubbish. So
And then you wonder why it slows down that time all the time.
PS3 runs faster than what the 360 does.
Yeah.
PS3 is loaded up before the 360 does now. I mean, obviously, like yourself, Last of Us. One of the ones that I've got to say was a big highlight on me getting was because I love the anime sort of stuff, especially the Studio Ghibli stuff like or Ghibli or whatever however the hell they pronounce it. It's things like Spirit Away, Howl's Moving Castle, fantastic Japanese sort of stories.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is £5 at the minute, mate, on the January sales on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
If you've not played it, pick that up for a £5, mate. The graphics on it are absolutely amazing. It feels like you're actually controlling a proper anime. It is really, really good. It does have a lot of talking to begin with because it explains how you do things and stuff in the game. But once you start getting into that game and you start learning everything and you're progressing on it, it is fantastic. Obviously, big Batman fan as well, so getting my hands on Arkham Origins, especially that collector's edition, that is fantastic. That model of Batman holding Joker up is fantastic. And the way that they introduced the Joker into it, I'm looking at. I mean, a lot of people have slated Arkham Origins, and it's not as good as Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. The new guy doing the voice of the Joker, it's not Mark Hamill, so the Joker's not as good. To be honest with you, I think the guy that does the voice of the Joker is fantastic. He does a phenomenal job. Joker actually does sound a lot younger, but he sounds even crazier than what he originally.
Is that why it's got Origins? Because it's going back from the beginning.
Well, Batman Arkham Origins is year 2 of his at the beginning, so it's basically year 2, and I've got to admit, the only cock up that I think that they've done in there is they've used an assassin, because one of the assassins that's in there, if you follow sort of the Batman timeline in a way, he shouldn't even be in there. Obviously, a lot of people have played it now. A lot of people, and basically, it's Bane. I mean, you get shown them all at the beginning of the game anyway.
It doesn't matter who you are.
But Bane was not. I mean, he'd had Robin. I think Dick Grayson had actually gone into being Nightwing, and I think it was Tim Drake that was playing as Robin at the time. And Bane actually comes into the comic books. He lets everybody out of Blackgate and Arkham. Batman takes him down one night after another. You've got your Riddlers, your Scarecrow, your Solomon Grundy, Mr. Freeze, Joker, and then basically on the 7th night, Bane shows himself to Batman. They get into a fight, and he basically breaks Batman's back, and that's how Bane is introduced into the Batman universe. And for to use him, I think they probably could have used somebody completely different as an assassin rather than using Bane. I mean, they probably could have used Mr. Freeze for as the sort of muscle type of thing, or maybe he's Two-Face, and that would have been a bit interesting. But the relationships in Arkham Origins are fantastic. And obviously another highlight for me has got to be Minecraft. It's got to be the most pointless game. But I mean, I've spent more hours in Minecraft between PS3 and the Xbox 360. I mean, I spent more time playing Minecraft on the 360 than playing any other game. Like the only game I got a lot of play on the 360 was Gears of War when that first came out.
Yeah. Then you keep bugging me about getting on Minecraft and PS3 later.
Yeah, well, it's good.
But
I'll be back. Right, I'm going to start the beginning in a second.
Do you want to get a drink or anything?
Which finally brings us up to the what's been going on the Destination Gamer website now. This part of the podcast every single month, or every podcast that we do, basically is we're going to talk about what's going to be the latest thing that's been going on with Destination Gamer. Obviously, what the hottest topics are. What they have a thing called Member Spotlight, which basically it tries to get people to interact with Destination Gamer more, whether that's posting on the site, bringing in new topics to talk about, or spreading the word that Destination Gamer is a place for with a game for everyone. And obviously we've got some standing out news and the upcoming gaming sessions, as well as a few shout outs for this particular podcast. So Batch, what's been the hottest topics in the past month this on DG?
Well, the first one is, what did Santa bring everybody? Chainsaw Records said that he's got Batman Arkham Origins, FIFA 14, WWE 2K14 on the Xbox 360. And he also said he's got a top quality suite, which I'm eating one of the quality suites now. And the best, what he said, a beer bell.
I've got to admit, if you do like your drink, that's definitely got to be one of the best presents you could probably get someone.
Frequency said she's got a DAB alarm clock and some nice chocolates and tearaway for the PS Vita. Gamer Girl said she's got a nice pair of earrings and tickets to see Desolation of Smog.
Desolation of Smog. Yeah, that'll be the latest Hobbit film. Fantastic film.
Have you actually seen it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's much better than the first one.
Oh, yeah. And Matty Limited, who's one of the new members on GG that was recently joined, he said he's got Battlefield 4 and a George Foreman grill.
And I hope he's not referring to the original PS3 there. If I remember rightly, somebody did actually gut a PS3 out and actually put a George Foreman grill into it. And actually grilled some bacon and eggs on it.
And he supports Newcastle United, so he got a few things like a mug, pyjamas, and a hoodie.
I know you've got a spreadsheet. You've always had this spreadsheet, which is basically anything that's multiplayer. You obviously, members would let you know or post up their gaming list. I know I posted a massive one there with everything that I've got. Basically, it's meant for sort of the multiplayer games, so that obviously it's easier for you and other people to arrange game nights on. Yep. I've noticed there's been quite a bit of talk on that, hasn't there?
Yes, so people have been bringing in their games list, so keep them coming in, members, please. Yep. Keep it updated as much as I can. And
yep. And obviously, what's been the last hot topic that's...
This has been going really hot for the last few months at least. What have people been buying for the last...
what was the last thing that people bought, yeah?
Yeah. John Mouse said he bought some Kleenex, some milk and Weetabix. Am I taking this thread too literally?
Well, I think that's in the sort of anything goes sort of category within the site, so it doesn't necessarily have to be games, really, does it?
Yeah. Quicksilver said he's got State of Decay on the countdown to 2014 deal. Only £6.74.
No, that's not bad. And obviously, has any of the newer members made any comments?
Yes, Molly94 said he's bought some cool, new badass trainers and also Call of Duty Ghosts.
Oh well. At least he'll maybe have a few members to play that with as well then.
And
I think you were saying the last one when I was talking to you just before doing the podcast was the Fertile Turtle or something like that.
Yes, he's bought some bottles Baileys for New Year's celebrations.
Well, I suppose it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if he's still actually recovering from his hangover from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked to been cleaning all the stuff up from
Oh,
London, from the Thames. Apparently, there was a million people packed in there. And obviously, this month's member spotlight announcement, if people haven't been on there, and who's that person?
fair enough, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and basically, what up and coming gaming sessions have you got for set out for January?
We have every Sunday from 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, Minecraft Survival on the PS3, using the destination game of world that we set up.
Yep.
And on the 9th of January, which is a Thursday, from the same time, Project Gotham Racing 4. Basically, we're doing a throwback Thursday every so often, going back to the old games
Yeah.
from from Xbox 360 or PS3, or even before that have been really re-released on the Xbox or PS3.
Ah, right. Well, that's quite a clever little title for it then. Throwback Thursday. Roll off your tongue. And is that them all? Or?
And the last one, I mean, it was Redemption on Friday the 17th of January at the same time, 8 o'clock.
So everything that you do
time.
basically starts 8 o'clock onwards.
Yes.
Obviously, it's...
Unless people have asked it to be a bit later.
Well, yeah. The best thing to do is, if you want to get into any of these as well, is to get your name down in the forums. If you enjoy playing any of those games and you want to do it, sign up to DG, chuck your name down, and you'd be surprised. There is quite a few games that I've played with yourself and had quite a lot of fun on.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a few sort of standing out news posts that's up on the front of the website at the moment. Obviously one of them is the Sleeping Dogs and Lara Croft, the Guardian of Light, is hitting Games of Gold this month in January. So obviously I'm guessing you're going to have from the 1st, which ironically is today, would be...
Happy New Year, everyone.
Is it Sleeping Dogs first?
It is, yes.
Right. So you're
Download
going to have Sleeping Dogs first, which is probably one of the first games that is worth anything to put on there. And then obviously after that you've got the Lara Croft and Guardian of Light hitting around about the 15th or something, isn't it?
16th.
16th. Well, it's around about the 15th then, isn't it? I know there's been a few members on the site there said, "Oh, I'm looking forward to this." I actually picked Sleeping Dogs up for on a deal that Sony had, where I got that with some DLC for a £5 earlier last year. So,
did you pick it up when it was on Free for Plus?
No, I didn't.
Good.
See, I probably didn't have PS Plus then. But obviously, talking about a lot of games, there was a storm kicked up back end of last year about people pretending to sort of like, the fake gamer girl. Oh yeah, I play such and such a game. And a lot of people sort of take the stance of, well, if to be classed as a gamer, you need to do this, and this, don't you? Because some people say, oh, well, you're not a gamer if you play on a games console. You've got to play PC for a game, and some people say, oh, you only have the one console. You're not a true gamer, or you only play console games. You're not a true gamer, And then I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's harder for a lass to play games, because obviously, if you start playing, you're going to get people, oh, you like your video games, you're a gamer, are you? Oh, you're a gamer girl. Oh, do you like such and such a game? And if they don't like that particular game, because I know a lot of people, like hardcore gamers that play probably, Call of Duty constantly, and they're a hardcore gamer because they play that one game. If somebody else, especially a lass, doesn't like Call of Duty because it is generically crap in their eyes, people are saying they're not a gamer. Everybody is a gamer to some extent, even if you just sit and play your Candy Crush on your Facebook and stuff, which obviously, some people do. Now, this is actually leading on, believe it or not, to the standout thing. And I mean, I don't know if it was somebody showed me or I posted it up or whatever, but basically, so there's a bloke somewhere in the world, and there's a video on YouTube. If you get to destinationgamer.com, .co.uk, I
Can
do
you redo
apologise.
that bit?
You know, this guy's there's a guy gone out of his way, developed a side-scrolling video game to propose to his girlfriend, and then he films her playing the game, obviously looking for the guy. She turns around and says yes. So there's obviously two gamers found each other, blah 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 blah, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
And obviously I have noticed a few members have put, "Oh, that's heartwarming. It was lovely." I thought, like, it's not often you see things like that.
No, it's quite unique, that was.
It was, yeah. I know you've got a few shout outs that you'd like to do for a few people, so if you want to maybe get them out of the way.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say a big shout out to Quicksilver 2121, Madman Monkeys, and Vision Rider, or because of the recent GTA madness that's going on, and putting up with Vision Rider's random groans,
Yeah.
and also Ziggy, yourself, and everyone else on Destination Gamer.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to give a shout out, I'd probably give it out to the those guys over at the Crazy Horse Gaming. I've listened to a few of their podcasts, and they do seem to be a little bit on the crazy side. So I think that their title fits it. Obviously, they're another sort of bunch of gamers chatting as we are. But yeah.
And another quick shout out just before we finish off for Play Vault, because those are good friends of ours as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, where can you find Destination Gaming? The easiest place to find it is www.destinationgamer.co.uk.
You can also find it at the following:
Twitter,
at Desk Gamer,
Facebook.
Just by searching Destination Gamer.
We're even on Google Plus, I think, aren't we?
Yep, the same thing. Search Destination Gamer, and
YouTube is the other one.
Destination Gamer DG, or
is the game night channel where you're putting the videos up, isn't it?
Yeah. Or the DG podcast,
which is this thing. Is obviously the DG podcast being the channel. So yeah, I think that wraps up first ever DG podcast, or Destination Gamer podcast, depending on which way you want to look at it. I've been the host, Ziggy Mandis.
I'm your co-host, Batch.
And we'll catch you next time.